My first day at an American coffee shop was also my first real job in the United States. I had arrived 3 months earlier as an international student, and until then, most of my English practice had happened in classrooms. I could understand my teachers, read textbooks, and write short essays, but speaking with strangers still made me nervous. The coffee shop was near my college. It was small, busy, and always full of students, office workers, and people carrying laptops. I had visited it many times before I applied for the job. From the customer side, everything looked simple. People walked in, ordered coffee, paid, and left. I thought taking an order would be easy. I was wrong. On my first morning, I arrived 30 minutes early. I wore a clean black shirt, dark pants, and the green apron the manager had given me. My hands felt cold, even though the shop was warm. The smell of coffee filled the room, and the machines made loud sounds behind the counter. My manager, Sarah, showed me where everything was. She explained the menu, the cup sizes, the milk choices, and the different ways customers could change a drink. I tried to remember every detail, but there were too many new words at once. The first hour was only training. I watched another worker take an order and enter it into the computer. She moved quickly and seemed to understand every customer, even when they spoke softly or changed their minds. I stood beside her and tried to follow. At 9 o'clock, the shop became crowded. A line formed near the door, and Sarah asked me to take an order by myself. The first customer was a young woman. She ordered a medium iced coffee with oat milk and no sugar. At least, that was what I thought I heard. I entered the order, took her payment, and felt proud of myself. A few minutes later, she came back because the drink had regular milk. I had made a mistake. She had asked for oat milk, but I had entered whole milk. I apologized and fixed the order. She did not look angry, but my face became hot. It was only my first customer, and I had already made a mistake. Sarah reminded me that mistakes were normal and that I could try again. She told me to slow down and confirm important details before sending an order. The next customer was an older man who spoke very quickly. I understood the words large and coffee, but I missed everything after that. I was afraid to ask him to say that again, so I guessed. I entered a large hot coffee with cream. When he received the drink, he looked confused. He had wanted a large iced coffee with caramel. I had made another mistake. This time, Sarah asked me why I had not asked the customer to speak slowly. I explained that I did not want to waste his time. She reminded me that asking someone to say that again was better than giving them the wrong drink. I knew she was right, but knowing what to do and doing it were different things. In class, I had no problem asking a teacher to repeat something. At work, with a long line behind the customer, every second felt important. The third customer was a student about my age. She ordered a drink with several changes. I heard something about almond milk, vanilla, and extra ice, but I could not understand the full order. This time, I did not guess. I asked her to speak slowly. She repeated the order, and I understood more. I still missed one part, so I asked her to say that again. She repeated it without showing any frustration. I entered the order carefully and read it back from the screen. She confirmed that it was correct. When the drink was ready, there was no problem. That small success made me feel better. I understood that most customers did not mind repeating themselves. They only wanted the correct order. Still, the morning remained difficult. Some customers spoke quietly. Some used words that were not on the menu. Some changed their order halfway through. Others asked questions about ingredients that I did not know. One man asked for a drink that was half regular coffee and half hot milk. I knew the drink had a name, but I could not remember it. I became confused and looked at Sarah for help. She entered the order and explained it to me later. She did not make me feel bad. She only reminded me that I was still learning. Around 10:30, I made my biggest mistake of the morning. A woman ordered 3 drinks for her office. I entered 2 of them correctly, but I confused the third drink with the second one. I also forgot to mark 1 cup as dairy-free. When the order was finished, the woman checked the labels and noticed the problem. She explained that one person could not drink regular milk. My stomach dropped. This was more serious than adding the wrong syrup. I immediately told Sarah, and we remade the drink. The customer stayed calm, but I understood that some mistakes could affect someone's health. After that, I became much more careful. I started reading every order back, especially when it included a milk choice or food allergy. I also stopped pretending that I understood when I did not. The shop was quieter around noon, and I had time to think about the morning. I felt tired and disappointed in myself. Before the job, I had believed my English was good. Now, I felt as if I could not understand even simple sentences. Sarah noticed that I was quiet. She reminded me that real spoken English was different from classroom English. People spoke at different speeds, used short forms, and often did not say every word clearly. She told me that the only way to get better was to keep listening, keep asking, and try again. In the afternoon, I returned to the register. A man in a business suit approached the counter while speaking on his phone. He gave his order quickly and did not look at me. I understood almost nothing. In the morning, I would have guessed. This time, I asked him to say that again. He repeated the order, but he still spoke too quickly. I asked him to speak slowly. He stopped his phone call for a moment and repeated the order more clearly. I entered it correctly. There was no problem, and the whole process took less than 1 extra minute. That moment changed something in me. I realized that asking for help was not a failure. It was part of doing the job well. Later, a customer used the phrase light ice. I had heard the phrase before, but I was not sure what it meant in that order. I asked her to explain, and she showed me that she wanted less ice than normal. Another customer asked for room in his coffee. At first, I thought he wanted a place to sit. Then another worker quietly explained that he wanted some empty space at the top of the cup for milk. Every new phrase felt difficult at first, but after I heard it a few times, it became easier. I began to notice patterns. Customers often use the same words in different ways. They ask for extra, less, no, half, hot, iced, or on the side. By the end of the afternoon, I could take an order more smoothly. I still made mistakes, but they were smaller. I forgot one cookie and entered the wrong cup size once, but I noticed both problems before the customers left. During my break, I wrote useful phrases in a small notebook. I wrote down, speak slowly, say that again, and let me check. I also wrote the names of drinks I had confused. That evening, after work, I went home and practiced. I watched videos of people ordering coffee. I repeated common phrases and listened to different accents. I practiced entering pretend orders on a piece of paper. The next day was still hard, but it was easier than the first. When I did not understand, I asked customers to say that again. When someone spoke too fast, I asked them to speak slowly. When I made a mistake, I corrected it and tried again. Most people were patient. Some even noticed that English was not my first language and spoke more clearly without making me feel uncomfortable. A few customers were in a hurry, but I learned not to take their stress personally. After 1 week, I knew the menu much better. After 2 weeks, I could understand many regular customers before they finished speaking. After 1 month, Sarah sometimes asked me to help train new workers. I was surprised by how much I had changed. On my first day, taking an order had felt impossible. I had been afraid of every new customer because I expected to make a mistake. Later, I understood that mistakes were not proof that I was bad at English. They were part of learning how real people spoke. The job taught me more than coffee words. It taught me how to stay calm when I did not understand. It taught me that I could ask someone to speak slowly without feeling ashamed. It taught me that asking a person to say that again was much better than pretending. I also learned that communication was not about speaking perfect English. It was about making sure both people understood each other. Sometimes that meant repeating a sentence. Sometimes it meant pointing to the menu. Sometimes it meant checking the screen one more time. Months later, a new international student started working at the coffee shop. On his first day, he looked as nervous as I had felt. He misunderstood several orders and became embarrassed each time. I helped him in the same patient way others had helped me. I reminded him that there was no problem with asking questions. I showed him how to confirm an order and how to ask customers to speak slowly. I told him that everyone made mistakes and that the important thing was to try again. Watching him helped me see how far I had come. I was no longer afraid to take an order. I could listen, ask questions, solve problems, and keep going even when the shop was busy. My first day at the American coffee shop was stressful, tiring, and full of mistakes. At the time, I wanted the day to end as quickly as possible. Now, I'm glad it happened that way. Every wrong drink taught me to listen more carefully. Every confused moment taught me to ask for help. Every customer who repeated an order showed me that communication takes patience from both sides. I did not become better in one day. I became better one order at a time. I listened, made a mistake, learned, and tried again. Slowly, the sounds that once felt too fast became clear. The job that once made me nervous became the place where I finally learned how to use English with confidence.